Yeah, they're very dangerous. Get them here.
All right. Okay.
Oh, they're terrible.
Mm.
You get bitten by one of those, it's pretty serious.
Well, like they can kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or the least you get is a very serious, like a burn. Yeah, here we can see them very often washed up on the beach. You know, when you go to the beach, they're washed up on the beach. Those guys are dead, but
how are you, Sarah? In the hotel.
Hello, Nina. Yes, in our quarantine hotel for the next 3 weeks.
Where are you, Sarah, that you're quarantining?
In Hong Kong, in a hotel.
Oh, you've gone back to Hong Kong.
No open window for the next 3 weeks, yes.
Oh.
But everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, why did you go back to Hong Kong?
We had the things we have to do here, yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Our home base, all our mail for a start. Anyway, everything's fine. So we'll just be living on rice and dal for the next 3 weeks, and very basic, yes.
Rice and dal, that's not much.
It reminded me last night, Nina, of traveling in India. We got up at 4 a.m. in Sydney, and by the time after all the quarantine hoops and testing and everything, it was 3 a.m. Australian time when we checked into the overnight hotel to tiny basic room to wait for the COVID results. It was just like be traveling in India, going in the yes. So good preparation. Yes. Anyway, just one cheetah at a time and different moments of vipaka. Kusla.
You don't have just 14 days for quarantine?
21 days now.
21. Oh, here's 14.
Very strict. And I'll show you we have a strict wristband. So this is we're tagged like prisoners.
Yes. Have to do? What does this do?
It means that they can monitor us. So we cannot even put our heads out of the door.
Oh, I see. They can monitor where you're going with that.
Yeah, they won't monitor all our movements. It's just like when I was in Moscow once in the 1970s. They monitor every movement, yes.
Can you take a bath with that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no problem. Okay, I think it's time to start the discussion. Ajahn, are you here?
Is Ajahn here yet?
Sawadika, Sawadika, Ajahn.
Sawadika, Ajahn.
Okay, let's start the discussion now. So we were just, Ajahn just mentioning, because now we're in a quarantine hotel room for 3 weeks, but as I wrote on the list, actually it's just one cheetah at a time, different moments, kusala and akusala vipaka, and the only drama is the thinking, it's just the thinking about it, but otherwise just moments of seeing and hearing and thinking as usual.
Yeah.
And Ajahn, on the flight over from Australia, I listened to a very old tape, and you were talking about Vitaka, and it reminded me of someone's question the other day. They were asking why it is the foot of the world, and you were talking about not just when we're traveling by flight, but even at each moment, Vitaka is marching on, thinking about this, thinking about that. So actually there is traveling at every moment. So it was good to listen to while we were flying. Marching on from moment to moment, no matter we talk about this situation or that situation, but just different moments of seeing and hearing and thinking, and as soon as seeing and hearing have fallen away, Vitaka is marching on from moment to moment.
Yes.
Leading to this or that object.
Right. And the absolute truth, even right now, is actually there is nothing.
Nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. Only when there is something there, among all other things which is unknown because it's not there. Only just one reality is there at a time. And if there is no attention to that moment, there are so many things around, like now, but actually only one is the object. And it depends on whether it is the object of understanding as it is, as it is. That which is seen, that it's it. And the thinking is only that at that very moment, that is thinking, only just one reality at a time. But it appears so shortly that no one knows that it's not there anymore. Just appear and disappear all the time, unknown, not the same one. And nothing can be taken from I or thing or mind at all. That is the world. What is meant by the world is that which is conditioned to just be there for very shortly and then gone. From life to life, nobody can change its truth at all, even right now. So it depends on how much understanding is established to that which has been with akusala and ignorance eons and eons ago, which conditioned this moment of thinking about what is appearing little by little as it is. Just like the remembering that which has heard before, and then again, but the truth does not appear as that yet, until one day, no expectation, the understanding of nothing, no me, no one, because it's gone, completely gone, unknowingly. That's why being aware of when there is the direct understanding of just one, the truth of it can appear, well, no more, as it is, nothing. Until then, see, by conditions only, one day it will be there, for sure, from understanding of nothing. Even right now, we are talking about that which just appears, so very short, until there's more understanding of each as different ones, conditioned and then gone. Just hearing again and again, because it's so true, no matter it's what. Nothing now. Only that which again is there, but then no more, all the time. And this the way it is. Just the way it is, no one there at all. And this is what is meant by Khanti Parami. It's so true. Otherwise, how can anyone know, enlighten the truth? The first is the Buddha, and the others listening, considering with 10 paramis to condition the moment of that release from being enslaved by ignorance and attachment, on and on and on. So it goes naturally, little by little, whatever it is.
And it's so helpful to reflect and be reminded, because we're so used to thinking of this, that situation in the ocean with the jellyfish, or on the flight, or having the COVID testing, or being in the quarantine room. But actually, it's all just nothing, just seeing, gone, completely never to return. And it makes no difference where we are or what the circumstances. There's no poor me at all, because it's just different moments of vipaka, different moments of thinking, each one gone, living alone at each moment.
As the thought, ideas, different things are accumulated from thinking from long time ago to be something always and always I, into just even just one moment of understanding. It's so very precious because it conditions the understanding of no one and nothing. So even right now, what is there as I? Not this moment only of seeing, I see, but it comes from that which has been accumulated from eons and eons are still there with ignorance. That's why the understanding of this moment, it cleans that which conditioned this moment to have less and less attachment. So there can be talking and being interested in the truth of it on as it is right now by conditions. This is the way it works. No one can do such thing because it's not just this moment which we take for self, but that which is taken for things. There's so much accumulated from years and years, and this understanding go to that to clean up just a little bit of misunderstanding and ignorance until it can condition next moment, see, not just from this moment, but from that which has been accumulated, get less and less, little by little.
That's a good expression, cleaning up just a little bit of the misunderstanding and the ignorance, like a mop-up operation. So much to clean up, but just little bit.
That's why we have to know where it comes, not only from this moment, but that which has been accumulated on up till now.
And another reminder on the flight that I found helpful when I was half sleeping, but you were reminded when you just mentioned about Kanti Parami, it reminded me that you were talking, this is from an old recording in the 70s, but you were talking about the importance of not just being patient with dosa, which we often think about, but also being patient with lobha, so much lobha in a day, and what about the patience at those moments as well?
See, until it's not you, but panya.
Yes.
See, the more panya is there, the more understanding of no self and no me. Because it has to be understanding what is taken for self, even right there. Sanya, see, thinking about it, it's not known as the object, direct object of understanding yet. So it takes quite a long time from one object to another object. From Vijnana Khanda, which now, that which experiences, the chief of experience, is there all the time. But what about the others? The Vedana, the feeling is there now together. Sanya there together. And Sankhara Khanda there together. All has to be cleaned up naturally in daily life from moment to moment, from conditions, only by conditions, collecting little by little, accumulated little by little to understand the next moment and the other on by conditions. So beginning to understand what's meant by patience, parami.
Patience as not self, it's another Dhamma that
Right.
has been developed very gradually, no matter what the object, no matter what the circumstance.
And that is not you, it's panya, see, which knows, which is such. Otherwise, no words from panya.
One other comment that came up in the discussion, this is from a very long time ago, and you were mentioning at that time that when thinking about wrong view, which we've discussed quite a lot recently, you were saying it doesn't arise often. Usually it's just lobha and not often wrong view or right view, usually lobha. But recently we've been talking a lot more about all kinds of asava, including ditthi, and how the very subtle unknown ditthi comes in so quickly, even in sense-door processes, it can come in any time, unknown. So it seems that recently we are emphasizing more on about the unknown, subtle kinds of ditthi that can arise anytime.
So that which is not known cannot be eradicated.
No.
See,
There cannot be any cleanup of that which isn't known. Yes.
So
that's
just
true.
one reality at a time. For example, now, what is there? No one can deny that which experiences, see, and not enough understanding of that characteristic as not self. But learning that before seeing, there's no seeing. And seeing is that which knows what is there. Otherwise, that cannot be known. Nothing can be known at all. So when one is asked about time, what is time? If there's nothing arising at all, can there be even thinking or idea about time? See? So all depends on that which arises by condition, unknown, until the Buddha taught about it. Each word to be understood as it really is, as it's not there anymore. But no one can stop conditions for anything arising at all. The proof is that now it's there already, seeing all the time, while hearing and thinking also are there at different moments, unknown. That's why just understanding the truth and no thought about I, whether how much there is understanding, or is it I? No doubt, because at that moment it's not the moment of understanding, but it's moment of thinking. That's why we have to understand the very fine line between the I and the thinking, and the I and the seeing, and the I who's hearing. See, nothing at all. Just remember that, and then we study with no doubt, and it's not trouble anyone to understand the truth. Actually, there's no one that's all, but learn to understand better and better in order to be more precise. And the strong panya will perform its function. That's all. No one.
Yes,
It's so natural.
and even when we mention, or even when you mention about the fine line between I and thinking and I and seeing, even then I can come in any time whilst thinking like that. So any moment.
As long as there are conditions, no understanding. So only understanding is the opposite.
Only understanding can clean up just a little bit more.
Right. Mm-hmm. Great patience. And the feeling is present because it's possible. And it's not I. So no trouble to try to do it with I.
Right.
Life is easy without trouble to try so much to do that which is impossible to be done.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the less idea of I, the easier life is, for sure.
And beginning to understand conditions. See,
yes.
what is there is already by conditions. So it has to think over again and again and again. For example, is there still my leg, my arm? If there's the idea of it's there, that's not right. Because it's not there. And why there is a thought thinking about it, it's still there. See, wrong from the very beginning. That's why to be truthful to the truth of each moment, nothing except seeing when they're seeing, nothing except hearing when it is hearing, no leg, no eye, no body at all. That's why it's not the body. They are in the absolute truth, different tattoo at all, the same, anytime.
Ajahn, since the understanding is very weak and the probability of all kinds of kusala, including wrong view, are there, and it must arise very often, more often than we know, more often than we think. So what about animals? Wouldn't even wrong view possibly arise because there's no understanding, there's very little, no accumulated understanding?
Is wrong understanding animal?
No, it's a reality.
No, one thing about animal.
No, because I used to think that animals have mostly other kinds of kusala and not wrong view. But coming to think about it, as Sarah was saying that it can arise at the sense door, so why not even animals wrong view can arise?
Where is the animal?
Yeah, no animals, just chitta chetasika and conditions for different kinds of akusala chittas.
So I am thinking about animal.
I think
Thinking.
the point, Sukin, is if it doesn't appear, it cannot be known. It's like the other day, a friend was asking about Haryawatu as auto-ayatana, but if it doesn't appear, it can't be known at that time. So if one's just thinking about animals, nothing can be known about wrong view, can only be known when it arises. Otherwise, it's just speculate about it, but who knows?
You're talking about animal while you don't know animal.
I don't know human being either, Ajahn. It's just,
So talk about that which you don't know. What for?
So, Ajahn, Dhamma actually helps us to understand the realities, and so that we know that concepts are just concepts, and to recognize when we are just lost in the world of concepts and speculating rather than understanding what appears now.
So what can be known? Only that which is now appearing, right?
Yes,
If you
Ajahn.
talk about other thing, it doesn't bring any understanding at all. But at this moment, when we heard the word, what is there? It's something there, unknown as it is. This is the reality, the moment which will draw or bring just a little closer to this moment. Because we learn a lot about different words, but we don't know that which is now appearing. So that cannot be directly known as what it said from what we heard. In order to understand whether what we heard is true or not, it has to be that which is now appearing. So when there is the moment of talking, understanding, studying, that which is seen as no one at all, no thing at all, it's time to condition direct awareness with understanding. Because we used to take something wrong, like it's not awareness, but we take it for awareness. At moment of touching, hardness appears, no awareness, no understanding, just experiencing hardness, kaya vinyana only, but to understand it as is there, just only when it appears. It can condition moment of direct understanding to understand that little by little, with a little more understanding from hearing and considering. Otherwise, it cannot be some sati sampajanya, another level of understanding directly of that which is there to be known exactly, not just to think about it. It's true. It appears by conditions. That's not the way to understand the moment when it's there as it is, as arising and falling away one day. So it's so beneficial to talk about that which is now appearing and begin to know by oneself how much understanding is there. For example, Sukhin is that what is seen, but actually that is not right. That's only different color, and only one color can appear at a time. So nothing appears well as it is to be as it is. That is right understanding. So when it's not that yet, it's wrong understanding that can be developed to be right understanding little by little at moment of understanding the truth. What is seen is there as the object, only no one, and it's gone. So that which is not there is gone. No matter you try to understand it, it's impossible because it's not there to be object of studying, to understand its nature as it is. Otherwise, we think about the word, about the book, but what about realities appearing all day, unknown all day, just think about it. But when it's the understanding of that can be directly known only when it's there. That's why beginning to think about it as oneself more and more, again and again. Do I have leg now? See, can there be I who is now seeing? Impossible. This is the studying, the way to understanding the truth. Even few words from the book, but it's there to be studied, to thought about, think about carefully, wisely, until it's stronger and stronger, more confidence of the truth. Satya Barami, from Viriya Barami and Kanti Barami. So it's
Ajahn,
yeah, okay.
Ajahn, as we all know, thinking must arise. There's no stopping thinking. So I'm wondering whether there can be thinking with understanding about what has just fallen away.
Thinking is there to be known as a self too. Otherwise, there can be knowing other things besides thinking. But thinking is there. It has to be known. Otherwise, it's I. No moment to understand it as not there anymore.
But Ajahn, it takes time to get closer and closer to the moment. In the meantime, there is a level of understanding that's still just thinking about the Dhamma.
But can there be a moment of just beginning to even think about it, not direct experiencing yet? That's why even there is more listening to the truth, but it has to condition moment of time to think about that which is heard too. Otherwise, how can it develop? Because there is not always hearing just about what appears, but there must be moment, even there's no hearing. There are conditions for thinking and beginning to be little less attachment from time to time. Very, very, very little, but it's there. Is this only life? Just experiencing from day to day, non-stop by condition. Sometimes it's happy feeling moment and sometimes it's not. So many trouble. How come? Those cannot be controlled at all. To understand the truth as no self, this is the point because it's the absolute truth.
Ajahn, are you referring to the arguments of attention to what appears, but it being very short and the panya still weak? They can be thinking about that, and that's what you mean. Is there any thinking about the reality?
How come thinking? Because you want to think or by conditions?
By conditions.
See, that's why to understand that all dharmas must be conditioned. Not anyone can do, or no one is there at all. Even just this should be developed. Otherwise, there's no way to understand the truth now, arising and falling away, no one at all. And this is the absolute truth. Nobody can change. Be patient to understand the truth.
Yes, Ajahn, I can see it does require patience.
With pleasant feeling, what can I do? Because sorrow being sad is akusala. It's quite a relief.
Yes, to panya.
And panya does not belong to anyone. See, it has to go on and on and on and on until no self at all. And that can be realized. And that moment is apisamaya, never before in samsara by conditions. the opportunity to hear the right words, to consider from life to life.
Ajahn, can you say a little more about Api Samaya?
Yes, the moment of enlightened the Four Noble Truths.
Okay.
The greatest moment in samsara and how far it is. That's why how great it is.
But Ajahn, given the extent of ignorance and attachment arising in a day, for us, intellectual understanding is like Api Samaya.
But you see that without this moment of understanding, it's impossible. So each moment is very important, very precious, because without even just one moment, it cannot be there. It cannot bring about that understanding of the absolute truth as no self at all.
I think it doesn't it refer to nibbana itself, the object of the understanding at those moments of enlightenment, Ajahn?
You mean the word apisamaya?
Yes.
And how come?
Only by understanding little by little, on and on and on.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So it's the peace at that moment.
Yes. Until it's that very moment, just once. Makkha is only once in samsara. Quite miracle, so great miracle. The miracle of the words of the Buddha, the teachings about the truth of these moments. So true that it can let go the wrong understanding. We have experienced many different kinds of pleasant feeling, but not that moment with understanding which has happened before. See, threads by threads, different ones. So only that which is object can be known, the truth. Otherwise, it's only expectation. We enjoy hearing, seeing, but just for very short and then gone. So that pleasant is so very short. But when it's not that, with the combination, the composite of different degrees of understanding and wholesomeness, even the pleasant feeling is different. With calmness, see, not as exciting as usual daily life. Each moment is so true by conditions, and now the right conditions are developing from moment to moment to understand better and better about what is there now. And when it's there, it's not lost, but it can be covered up by the other reality until time comes for it to be conditioned to arise and understand.
Ajahn, when you were referring to relief, is that relief from ignorance and wrong understanding, or just wrong understanding for beginners?
Okay, when you'd like to have something so much, is it troubled?
Yes.
And if there's no such it's less of trouble, right? And what is better? Because whatever will come, whatever will be by conditions. So it's useless to think about wanting so much, craving so much to get something. By conditions, you do their best in life. Only that as conditions.
But I'm sure you're not talking about relief as in the arising of just any kind of kusala, because when there's kusala, there's no akusala. Is that also a relief?
That is more understanding of conditioned realities. Quite a relief.
Yes.
When it's understanding at that moment, usually pleasant feeling, it's relief because there's no restlessness, no disturbance that accompanies that clinging, that wanting, that wishing, that misunderstanding. So that is the relief. At that moment, the citta is calm and it's not agitated, it's not disturbed by that wanting, trying to see a different object, trying to hear something different, trying to think in a special way.
And it also released too by itself. Just very little at a time.
Let's go a little bit of
Yeah.
the cleaning up operation.
Yeah.
Nina, do you have anything you'd like to bring up today? Any question or topic, or anyone else?
Just the same. Just the same. Do you have legs, arms? See, truthfully.
We can't hear you, Nina. Nina, we can't hear you. That's
Yeah. Ajahn often says, there is no one there, there is no one there. But then I think of Jonathan's reminder too, that it is natural to think of other people and that we need to think of other people in daily life, otherwise we cannot lead our daily life. But I think at the same time, we should not forget the absolute truth. So it is no contradiction. But Jonathan can formulate this very well.
Otherwise, it's not the understanding of no one, no I. See, can there be no I with still the leg? Is there?
Excuse me, can there be no I?
Because even you don't think about whether you still have leg or hands, but the reality is there. Seeing is still there. No need about thinking that I still have leg. See? That's why the word of the teaching should be thought over and over and over again. Only this moment, and then tomorrow about this and about the other aspect and so on, until it's clear enough. No one must be no one. No thing must be no thing. Otherwise, it's not the resolute understanding of what is meant by no thing, no one, no self at all. At all is at all, not even in thought. And when it appears, can that leg appear to the truth? At moment of experiencing the truth of a reality, is there still leg appearing? Otherwise, there must be the idea of I still have leg and it's still I. But actually, when reality appears, just one at a time, see, only one at a time what it's meant. Is it not true? but it's the absolute truth. Nobody can change, but it does not appear. The point is that since it does appear, because they all appear together, because of the rapidity of the arising and falling away of each different ones, it conditioned the idea of something all the time there. So it's not the actual moment of experiencing the truth as vipassana jnana clearly, so clear. What does it mean? Not as usual, not as before, because it will beginning to eradicate, to eliminate the idea of self from that which is not there. No thought that it's still there, because actually nothing is there, only that reality, just one at a time. Only once is enough. That's why it said more application of the clear understanding, clear comprehension of the truth to condition higher understanding, higher vipassana jnana, before the citta can be cleaned up, all wrong views, and then later other defilements, legalism, stage by stage, because it's so very, very dirty of ignorance. It has to be right from the very beginning. Otherwise, there must be the clinging to the I as something. I understand this, but I still have legs and arms. Is that right? Or no leg, no arm, no eye. As there's no eye, how can there be my leg, my arms? And even it's not there, how can one think that it's still there? What conditions such idea, wrong understanding accumulates so very thick? So Dhamma is to understand, not just to listen. Please, Jonathan.
Jonathan, yes.
Yes, thank you, Ajahn. When there's no understanding of the reality appearing at the present moment, citta will be a kusala of one kind or another. And the three mentioned mostly by the Buddha were attachment, conceit, and wrong view. But each of those has a different characteristic. So it is a question, is it not, of coming to understand the characteristic of the different kinds of akusala?
Not the word. It has its own characteristic, no matter we talk about the word or not about it.
Right. So I think we understand the characteristic of attachment quite well, and even conceit. But the characteristic of wrong view is a little elusive to describe and discover, I think.
Right. Because at moment of anger, anger is known. Just one reality, one thing. Anger is anger. I know anger. But anger is still I or my anger.
Different moments though, aren't they, Ajahn?
So it's not understanding the characteristic which is not self, but
Correct.
only understanding the different nature of that characteristic which appears, because
Yes.
anger appears as anger. See?
Only the understanding of realities can gradually eliminate the idea of self.
Right. The only way. Where is it now? Where is that anger, a particular anger? Never again. Never there again.
A tendency is latent.
But it's not that which has risen and fallen away.
Right.
And it's this moment, everything unknown accumulated to condition this moment to be such and such. There is less attachment to the idea of self from that which has accumulated from life to life. It conditions less attachment to what appears now from understanding, and then little more, and then little more, until it's not just understanding conventionally or just only that level, but more and more at moment when it's there, and moment when it's there, it is a characteristic which is different from other.
For example, when it's the moment of my arm or my leg, it could be mana, or it could be attachment, or it could be wrong
understanding about me and mine. Because of that is me, so that is mine. The other legs does not belong to you.
It depends on the moment, though, the characteristic of attachment, wrong view, or.
So even now, it does not appear, but the thought, the thinking, the idea of it's there, still there, until more and more understanding that actually only one reality can be object of experiencing, and then it can be the object of understanding, not just only to that which experiences, but also understanding is there. Because now they're seeing, no understanding of it yet. But when there is a little more understanding, seeing is seeing, see, but it has the understanding little by little about that is seen just very shortly. That cannot be anyone at all, so short. Just one moment cannot be someone. So how can there be someone and many, many, not just only one? This is the rapidity of the realities, which is like the magician all the time. It performs, like we say, miracle, but it's not the magician which is miracle, the way Dhamma is. No thinking about each one, how can there be the understanding of each one? But when there is the moment of thinking, considering about the truth of each one, it cannot be changed. When leg does not appear, is the leg. Even its condition to arise, it falls away in split seconds. So when it is not the object, it arises and falls away. And when it falls away, can that still be my leg? Or when it's there, arising and falling away, it does not be my leg or other people's leg. It does not belong to anyone. Just like a table, arising and falling away. It cannot be my table. So leg is just like a table. Is it right? Just like hardness, shape and form, arising and falling away, no one. Does not belong to anyone because it's gone before it can belong to anyone. It's not there anymore. So everything will condition the understanding of no self from all what are there, which cannot be known in the beginning, but from understanding little by little, there is more and more what is meant by no self and no I, and also no thing at all.
Or the Sotapanna Ajahn who has no more wrong view, he can still have conceit, for he or she still have conceit. My knowledge is greater than the other person's knowledge, and my body is more beautiful than the next person's, or something like that.
That's no doubt about I.
No doubt about I whatsoever. But still, idea of my leg, my knowledge, my arm, this person, that person.
Yeah, but not as I or thing, as permanent.
So the characteristic for that person, the characteristic of
they can be
has been eradicated. Does not appear any further. There's no more
other realities are related as before. Only the wrong understanding has been eradicated completely. That's why it has to be daily life, No doubt about whatever Asotapanna touched. No doubt that it's gone. It's not there. Because it has directly experienced from
still the idea of table and chair and person and...
Yes, there can be idea with our wrong understanding. As usual, as before, there can be love, there can be hatred, there can be whatever it's there by not understanding that no self and no thing. Otherwise, that person will be arahata.
Yeah.
But whatever arises, when people who have no understanding of the truth is so disturbed, why it's there? It's me. I'm wrong. I'm not good. But for Asotapanna, no doubt, Lopa is Lopa, no matter what degree, exactly the same. Otherwise, that person will be Sakatagami and Anagami. But it's not that level of Panya yet, because even it's known as it's there. But Lopa is very strongly accumulated from years and years ago. So while one developing the understanding, there is Lopa and Dosa, but that person is not disturbed anymore because understanding is strong enough to understand that no one can make it different from that. No one can stop it, but it can be eradicated by further understanding about the truth, because the truth cannot be changed. The truth is the same, the truth, not self, not permanent. But Panya just begin to understand some like wrong understanding, but not yet the danger of attachment and other akusala. That's why whatever appears more appear to Panya to understand better and better about the danger of such reality.
The Sotapanna will have developed understanding of many, many different realities.
Yes, it's there.
Including attachment and conceit. And
it's there.
Yeah. But the wrong view gets eradicated.
Okay, because at moment when attachment is there, no doubt, no wrong understanding of Sotapanna, but understanding that it's conditioned to be such reality. See, the understanding of non-self, uncontrollable, getting more and more confidence. That's why who has the great confidence of the teaching, Asotapanna, and then more than that, Sakatagami, and more than that, Anagami, and more than that, Arahanta.
But as I think you've explained many times, the understanding that is developed is not focus on any particular reality. It could be any nama, any rupa.
Otherwise, the self is there.
Hardness, visible object.
So Panya has to understand whether it's hardness, it's pleasant, it's Lopa lurks somewhere. See, even right now, see, no one knows the moment of Lopa because it doesn't sure to be known as this is Lopa, but it's there, wanting, craving, wishing, even a little bit, but it's still there. That's why the enlightenment of the truth to be the aim must be having no doubt left at all. At moment of enlightenment at level of Sotapanna and higher at different level. Because of getting used to the Lopa. Before that, Lopa is so desirable. Everyone wants to be loved, to be cared for. But what is that? See, that is disturbance. It's not calm at all. That's why understanding begin to see what is left, which is conditioned to be, even it's so strong, as it's not controllable because no one can make it. And that will bring about a little detachment from wanting it to have it as long as that. And that is Sotapanna, to become Sakatagami. And from then on, even it's so very little, what's the use of that, which even is so little, but it is uncontrollable. It doesn't bring any understanding to be more calm, and without it, to be without akusala is the best thing of all. But that can be done at once, or that can be in a moment. It needs more time from one stage to another stage of panya, until from stage of sotapanna to stage of sakitahakami, depending on each different accumulation. But seeing the danger of life, being, power, lobha, and ignorance has to be completely gone.
And let's not forget rupa is also visible object and sound, etc.
Right now, the same. Our reality gone. Can you keep it? Can you have it? Whatever you like.
Because it's the understanding of the non-self characteristic of individual realities that cumulatively brings the understanding of no self, no I, no me.
So what is there now? The understanding of this will go down deeply to the accumulation, years and years ago, to have less and less, to condition next moment from now on to understand better and better. It cannot just eliminate or eradicate wrong understanding right now, but it has to go down deep to that which has been accumulated as anusya. Because this moment of understanding is gone, but it's there, deeply down, to clean up very little dirtiness of akusala. Until next moment, it's different from this moment because of understanding. And this is what Buddha said, so very subtle, so very deep. It's deep because it's not only this moment, but it goes deeply down to the accumulation from eons and eons ago. And what is deep? Now this moment is there, each moment gone, and the accumulation is there. So it's not just eliminate the moment of understanding now, but the accumulation there too. So I think that it's benefits to understand the depth and the subtlety of defilement. Otherwise, we go to the wrong way, trying very much to do this and that in order to gain knowledge. But it's not like that. It works its way. Very secretly now. And next moment, one knows better understanding because of better considering. Wisely, so wise to it that it has to be accumulation. When it's akusala, it is anusya, and when it's kusala, it is parami. So what is there now? What can be known now? depending on conditions.
Yeah, whatever it is,
Yeah.
something that's appearing at the present moment.
Little by little, but it's so very precious because it can go down deeply to clean up the accumulation of citta.
Ajahn Ka, is the understanding that you're speaking of, is that equivalent to Nata Parinya?
Pardon?
The understanding, well, what is Nata Parinya? At what level would we say it's Nata Parinya?
That's it sure. It can condition next moment that there can be more wise understanding.
The Parinyas are referring to the understanding in between the Vipassana jnanas. So it's referring to very highly developed understanding after the attainment of, after the realization of insights of Vipassana jnanas. So it's what has been known. So after the Vipassana jnanas, the first Vipassana jnanas, the Jnata Parinya works its way, understanding what has been realized. So it's not like the ordinary understanding in daily life now, intellectual understanding, or even moments of satipatthana now.
Right. Yes, it was. I'm reading in the Sutta Nipata, and it's got a footnote that full understanding of the known is explained as the understanding that occurs by observing the specific characteristics of such and such phenomena. And I was wondering if it is that like, is Nata Parinya like Pariyatti or?
No, it's like the application of what has been directly realized by insight, by Vipassana jnanas.
Okay, yes,
Not
it's
intellectual understanding at all.
okay. So it's a lot more highly developed than I've been giving it credit for.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's just matter now how much understanding is there.
Ajahn, could you ask that again, please?
Is it matter how much understanding is there now?
Well, no, I guess not. It's just if we're concerned about how much understanding there is, that sort of indicates as I wanting more understanding, I would think.
Understanding how come to understand this doesn't make any trouble at all. Right? That is panya.
Right. Mm. Yes, I like what you said earlier about it's a relief, but I think the relief you speak of is a lot more highly developed than what I think it is.
Depending on condition.
Right.
So when there is trouble about not understanding, one knows how come, because of what? The idea of self is so strong.
Yes, I can see that.
Ignorance cannot get away from the idea of self at all. So the more understanding, the more Dhamma is so very deep, deeper and deeper and deeper. So what we are hearing is just about the skin of Dhamma.
I like that, the skin of Dhamma.
Yes. So deep to the moment of arising and falling away. Not far away, but it's far away because of ignorance. When it's panya of that degree, it's not far away at all. Any moment. And this is the firm confidence on the truth, no self. And that which can know is that which understands a reality which is different from other realities.
So, Ajahn, what are the conditions for that growth of panya? Is it simply listening again and again, or is it something more?
There is more understanding, not just thinking. There must be understanding while thinking about that too, about the truth. So thinking rightly of the truth of it, the absolute truth, the anatta-ness. Everything goes to understand Dhamma, anatta.
And Azita, I just checked, yes, the Jnata Parinya, it can only arise after the first Vipassana Jnana and before the second. And if there hasn't been the first Vipassana Jnana, there can't be that deeper, direct understanding of realities, clearer than moments of Satipatthana before the Vipassana Jnana. It's like applying what has been directly understood, just as if one's never traveled to, I can describe what it's like to be in a quarantine hotel, but if you haven't been there, it's not the same experience. And in the same way, if there hasn't been the first Vipassana Jnana, there cannot be the direct understanding of the realities that have been so clearly understood. So that's the first one, Jnata, what has been known, Parinya. And the second one is Tirana Parinya, which arises between the third and fourth stages of insight. And the third one, the Pahana Parinya, begins at just the fifth stage of insight, contemplation of the dissolution. The third one, it's the comprehension of the groups and the rising and falling away of realities. So they all depend on Vipassana Jnanas that have directly understood realities at those different levels. And it's the understanding in between. It's not Vipassana Jnana, but it's the clear understanding of what has been realized at those different levels. So as you say, when we read about the Parinyas, it's not like just a pariyati understanding now at all.
Right.
Sorry, Ajahn. And altogether they're called the Sabbe Parinya, all the Parinyas. So Ajahn sometimes refers to Sabbe Parinya, all the Parinyas.
So all are unexpectedly, because how can there be the understanding of the Parinya? Because there must be Vipassana. So now what one is thinking about without experiencing directly Vipassana Jnana, it cannot be that level of Parinya. Even the object is the same and Panya is the same, but the level of Panya is different.
So a moment ago, Sarah spoke about Satipatthana. So when does Satipatthana arise? Is that's knowing, that's Sati with Panya, knowing an object. Is that correct?
What is now appearing?
What is now appearing? Well, the hard disk, the sticky
Okay, hardness, right?
hardness, yeah.
Without that which experiences it, can it appear?
No, there must be citta arising to experience the hardness.
So it's so common, but it's not known as no self.
Correct.
Okay, and so that cannot be satipatthana because of no panya at all to understand that as no thing. Because when we touch something, it's hard, but is it not something?
Yes.
It is something, always something, even we don't call it what. Even a moment of hearing a sound, what is that? See, the idea of thing is there all the time, unknowingly, and that is asva. See, we begin to understand what is there in a day from the teachings of the Buddha, who understood everything at different level. So at moment of experiencing hardness or sound appears, no satipatthana, right? Even it is satipatthana when there is panya. But when there's no panya, it cannot be satipatthana because of no understanding. It's just exactly the same. Sound, hardness, everything, no understanding at all. That what is it? But when there is the learning, hearing, studying the word of the teachings, it's a reality because it has its own characteristic, condition. That's the way it is, dhammata, the way it is, no one can change at all. And that is meant by Dhamma, a reality conditioned, otherwise nothing can appear. And there are that which can experience and that which cannot experience. No understanding of this, if one hasn't heard about it at all. But at moment of whatever appears, there must be a reality which arises and experience just only that. Otherwise, that cannot appear, right? And this is natural thinking that, okay, when you are talking about that which experience, everyone knows, right? And that which cannot experience, everyone knows. Is that panya? As long as there is the idea of I, and thing, it's not panya. So learning just one word at a time, that which experiences just arise by conditions to experience. That's all, no one. And this is the beginning of understanding. We can call it panya, or if we don't call it, there can be the moment of understand that which is not I, because it experiences. But in a day, at moment of opens one's eyes, is there any idea of no I, no thing is there? Not at all, because the I is there so very deeply as asava, unknown that it's I already. Whatever is there must be the I who see, who experience all the time. So that is not satipatthana. Until panya about different realities as not self, understanding that it's conditioned to arise, otherwise it cannot arise at all. And this is the beginning, just to think about it, but forget it all the time. So it cannot be satipatthana because the intellectual understanding is not enough yet. Until the moment when satipatthana arises, No doubt about what is meant by anatta, no doubt about condition, no doubt about not I who can make it arise. But it's so short, just to be aware directly. Directly means that as that reality appears. For example, now, there is seeing and this visible object. Is that satipatthana? No. See, even one knows and learn about. No I who see. See, and see is that which is seen, and only that which impinges on the eye base that can be seen. The other, which is at the back, cannot be seen because it doesn't impinge on the eye base. This is just learning about the word, about the truth of what is there, but not yet the understanding of no self. It's still I who learn, I who hear, I who understand. So it's not reality, it's not Dhamma, it's I. That's why we need more intellectual understanding. Unexpectedly, when will it become so strong enough to understand no me, no I? It's only a moment of experiencing. It takes quite a long, long time, which means that is the nature of anatta. No one can condition it, but it's always forgotten because every moment is anatta, but no one thought about it as anatta at all. See how far from hearing and understanding, or hearing and no considering at all. See, before it can be a moment of satipatthana, which means direct awareness of that reality with understanding. See, so that can be satipatthana, patthana of sati with panya, which is not sati at level of listening and thinking, considering only. See, before it can be satipatthana, how long and how much in a day? How many times? Not at all in a day, sometime, not at all in a week, not at all in a month, but hearing again and again and again, it shows anotherness. No one can make it arise. And whenever it arises, the understanding of anatta begins. Even it's not clear, but it happens unexpectedly, which means anatta, right? Before it can be firm understanding, more confidence of anatta. Before panya, at moment when sati is aware directly, begin to develop from hearing a lot to understand that moment. Very little, so very little. It cannot be so strong. That's why it takes time, no doubt about how many kappas, years and years ago, see. And when there is understanding, it means the understanding of anatta. No one who can try, who can do. It's useless just to wasting time. Trying, it doesn't work because it's I, more I, and more I. See, so how can there be the eradication or the elimination of letting go the idea of I? So from the very beginning, there must be the understanding, the right purpose of studying, just to understand, not for me, because actually there's no me, but there's no understanding. That's why understanding can be there, develop little by little from hearing and considering wisely. In Pali, Yonso Manasikara, people keep on saying that. But what about the moment of understanding and moment without understanding? See, no one, and we use the term all the time, but not understanding that it is this moment. What is there that Buddha taught is now, this moment, that can be known. So it has to begin to understand reality at level of intellectual understanding enough, strong enough, clear enough. That's why the meaning of pariyatti is not just hearing the words of the Buddha, but understanding firmer, more confidence that anatta, no one, no self. And by then that condition, the moment of direct awareness to be there as seeing arises now. See, who knows before? Hearing arises now, who knows before? And thinking arises, who knows before? The same as Satipatthana, who knows before? So the understanding of no self, no one, and nothing begin to develop. So very little, and Panya understand that which is not the object cannot be known as no self. It's only thinking about. That's why even the very simple question like, do you have leg? See, depending on how much understanding of anatta. Even you say, I have no leg, but actually your leg is there. Only the answer is that, but it's not sincere or honest yet. To really understand that actually what is there is just there, very shortly and no more. That's why nothing can be taken for something permanent or self at all. Begin and begin and begin and begin. Like in Pali, start, begin, again and again and again and again. Why? Because what is heard is taught by the other things that is taught in a day. Thinking about other things instead of thinking about the Buddha's word in a day. That's why it's hidden. And whatever is there is on top up all the time. Until when there are right conditions to hear it again, to understand it a little better, according to how much what is heard and what is considered wisely. See? So this is not easy, but it can be studied, can be known, but little by little. And little by little, it's the only way to let go the idea of self. Otherwise, the other way, just condition most idea of self that I can do. So, do you have leg now?
Yes, it's still there, unfortunately.
Even it's not known, it's not seen, but you think I still have it. But what you think is gone all the time, just rise and gone. All the time, no more at all. Not the same one, not the same thing. Just once in samsara, only once in samsara. See? So to be true to yourself, to be honest, and the answer shows how much understanding. It can be intellectual until it can be more than just thinking about it, until it's there to be known, to vipassana jnana. Nothing at all. The world is lost. Otherwise, that cannot appear well to be known as it is. Just one object at a time. And that which experiences does not have shape and form. What's the world? Unexpected. No one can imagine that level of understanding. That from the whole world with so many things in the world, lost completely, no more. And when it's not the idol, it's dark, so dark, all dark. So actually, in a day when reality appears well, it's in darkness, everything in darkness, but light is there. So it seems like we live in the light world, but actually it is in dark world. See? So what is true? Only when there's no seeing, no visible object appearing, dark or light world. And what is true? To be truthful to the truth. And this is Satya Barami. And the more understanding, the more one begins to understand the virtues of the Buddha. So the question for everyone, do you know Buddha now?
No, no, I don't.
But you know that there must be this word from whom? From the one who enlightened the truth of whatever is there, not just thinking. But the truth is the truth that can be known. For example, seeing is not hearing. So there must be the moment when it's not moment of seeing and moment of hearing, but it does not appear because they seem arise together, inseparable at all. But the truth is what? Cannot be the same moment. So begin to be true, truthful to the truth. Never change, and then it will condition moment of understanding more and more of the truth. That is so very difficult. And understanding the subtlety, the difficulty of the truth is the only way to wearing away the idea of self, less and less attached, to try to do something which is impossible because it's done by not understanding, no panya. And panya is only reality which can understand the truth. Sati is sati. It cannot understand at all. The only reality which can understand is panya. Even we don't call it panya and use different words for different degrees of panya. So the teaching, the book, cannot be just read. It's not the book for reading, but for studying carefully, wisely, to understand each word as it is, so true. The most precious thing, precious word, because it's the word of truth.
So, Azita, without the Pariyatti understanding, which is we're discussing now, without understanding now intellectually about realities as not self, there cannot be the development of Satipatthana, the direct understanding of what appears now. And without the basis, the development of Satipatthana, there cannot be the direct realizations, vipassana jnanas, which is the Pati Veda. And without the direct realizations, insights, there cannot be the purinya, the applying of that knowledge of what has been realized. So there has to be the development of Satipatthana before there can be vipassana jnana, and there has to be vipassana jnana before there can be the purinyas. So very different from the intellectual understanding of realities, which we're discussing now.
Very, very different. I realize that, because now it's like, yes, there's intellectual understanding that seeing is not hearing and visible object is not sound. But that gets forgotten in a busy day, driving, playing with the grandkids, whatever. It's completely forgotten.
And we can say that seeing is not visible object and there's no I there. And then so quickly afterwards, it's my eye or my arm or my painful feeling or disturbed because I cannot make things the way I would like it, and so on. So, but anyway, it develops, and this is the point of discussion and the point of consideration, to reflect again and again on the true nature of realities now, so that the foundation is firmer and firmer and the basis for the direct understanding of realities of what appears now.
And I think with that very intellectual level, even there, I can see in my own behavior less irritation, less disturbance to a degree of things that used to really bother me. Like right at the moment, I'm being bitten by mosquitoes, and it's like well, they're just mosquitoes. I mean, creatures to have compassion for or something rather than be really irritated with. But they will irritate me more as they get more bitten. Thank you. That's been a really wonderful discussion.
And I think, as Ajahn said earlier, it's like the more understanding, the less disturbance, the more trouble, the more of a relief, because even at that moment of being bitten by the mosquitoes, the painful feeling, it has to be that way by conditions. No point wishing it was some other way. Or even when there's the irritation, it's like that by conditions. It's not my irritation. It's just that Dhamma at that moment. That has to be that way and gone instantly. Actually, it's nothing at all. So it helps so much.
Yes, it does. It's very beneficial listening to this again and again. Luckily, I can actually record it, so I do listen from my recordings.
And like now, like people felt sorry for us being in the quarantine room for so long and so on. But at the moment of seeing now, the moment of hearing, the moment of wise reflection, actually it makes no difference where one is. It's just the drama, it's just in the thinking, it's just seeing, it's just moments of pleasant feeling, painful feeling, and all gone, never to return. So life just comes back to this moment, and that's the real relief. That's the lifting of the burden, understanding it's just this very moment only in samsara, and then gone, never to return.
Yes, it does require some patience, though.
And that's why the patience has to develop with understanding, not I being patient or trying to be patient, but as understanding develops, the Kanti, the patient, develops with it naturally. Little bit.
I think
I missed that gem, Azita.
I'm disappearing again. I'll have to find the light to put on. It's getting very dark here.
Still visible object, but not so much light in it.
Yes, exactly.
And Ajahn, when you were having a little cough earlier, I always want to pass you a cough sweet, and I can't. So in my thought, I'm passing you a cough sweet.
Thank you for your goodwill. My condition is gone.
It's gone completely, yes.
And the condition is orange juice.
Orange juice, okay. New remedy.
See, we just talk about Dhamma. To understand whatever we are talking now is about Dhamma. See, in order to understand, the word Dhamma means no one and no thing, different realities by conditions, that's all. Otherwise, we will take it for something. What is that? See, something. Not Adhamma, but actually it's Adhamma.
Tadao and Alberto, did you have anything you would like to bring up today? Or Leanne? I saw earlier, I thought Leanne, you were about to speak. Do any of you have anything? Any topic you'd like to bring up?
Hello, Ajahn and everyone.
Hi, Leanne. Carry on.
Hi, hello, Sarah. Yes, it's good to know that you arrived in Hong Kong safely. I was thinking of asking a question about mindfulness that the whole world is talking about now. And I want to know what, in terms of reality, what would that be?
I think the whole world thinks they're talking about mindfulness, awareness, satipatthana, but do they understand what sati is? Do they understand what Dhamma is even at this moment? Or is it just the idea of I being mindful in this or that situation? What do you think?
Yeah, the type of mindfulness they think they can gain from practice. Like basically practicing doing everything slowly to be aware of what is happening. Yeah, I just want to know, in terms of realities we talk about, what would that mindfulness be? It is not sati, according to what I...
When it's the idea that I can do something, or by moving more slowly, lifting my arm and focusing on it and being aware, isn't that the idea of I? So isn't it ditthi at that moment, and wrong ditthi conditioning, wrong practice? The idea of I being aware by following this or that practice.
And it is still a conditioned Dhamma.
Ditthi is conditioned Dhamma. So as soon as there's the idea that I can be aware, and if I move slowly, I can have more mindfulness. So many moments of ditthi conditioning that wrong practice at that moment.
Maybe other kinds of akusala also, but there's a lot of thinking going on. So that's one of the realities that's happening at those moments, thinking about what I'm doing, because the idea of what's happening at the moment is just a story about the present moment, the story of what I'm doing or what's happening around me. Just a way of thinking in conventional terms. And of course, it would be wholesome thinking. So it's thinking with one or other of the kinds of akusala.
Thinking of attachment, but especially motivated by thinking with wrong view. Thinking I can be aware of my arm moving slowly, or the slow walking, or the abdomen. So the different kinds of upadana that the Buddha talked about. Clinging, wrong view, wrong practice, and the clinging to the idea of self.
And your question about the mindfulness the whole world is thinking about or talking about at the moment is a little bit uncertain as to what kind of mindfulness are being referred to, because there are other people who consider themselves Buddhists who talk about mindfulness in certain ways. And then there are people who have no connection with Buddhism at all, who talk about mindfulness, and it's taught as a kind of a self-improvement or a way of being more attentive to what's going on, that sort of thing. So it's difficult to say to what extent wrong view people.
And when they talk about their idea of what the Buddha taught of being mindful, and they talk about satipatthana, but actually, as the Ajahn would say, they don't know the Buddha at all, because nothing is known about dhammas. Nothing is understood about dhammas as anatta right from the beginning. So it's the wrong way, the wrong path right from the very start. I'm sure Ajahn will add more on this topic.
And the self is very strong. It doesn't lead to detachment from the self. And that is the aim of the Buddha's teaching, to be less attached to the idea of I.
Yeah. Thank you, Nina and Jonas. Yeah.
We talked before with Adita about the pariyatti understanding, and how from the very beginning there has to be the understanding intellectually of what Dhamma is, what is seen now, what is heard now, the reality which sees, the reality which is hears. There has to be the understanding from the very beginning. But when people talk about being aware of whatever is happening now, or slow movement, or the abdomen, there's no understanding right from the beginning of what Dhamma is. It's just the idea of something, someone from the start. So it's not the Buddha's path at all.
Yeah.
Is there any word you would like to know or to talk about? Just one word at a time. Because when there is the understanding of one word, it will bring to understand other words as well. But if there is no understanding of just one word, the other word cannot be understood.
I think if one word that would be sati, Ajahn, because
What would you like to talk about now? Just one word.
sati.
Pardon?
Sati.
Sati. Okay. What is sati? Is there sati? You know sati? See, not just the word sati, but there must be a reality which we use that term to make it different from other words. It's not moha, it's not ignorance, but it's what? It's a reality, but we don't know yet what reality it is. But there must be a reality which we call it sati, but we don't understand it clearly yet from the very beginning. That's why to understand it, whether sati is real or not, okay. If there's no sati, we don't talk about sati. But there must be a reality which many people use the same word sati. But what about the understanding of sati? Not just saying sati. So sati, it's a reality. Can sati see?
No, Ajahn.
Why not?
Only seeing, see. Sati is a jasasika that has a different function.
What function is sati's function?
So from what I've learned, it is a jasasika that arises with kusala data, and it marks and remember what is kusala.
So at moment at giving things away for the benefit of the others, is there sati?
Yes.
And is there other reality as well, not just sati?
Yep, there are other realities.
So what is the difference between sati and other reality which arise together at moment of wholesome moment?
I think each reality has its own characteristics or function.
See, even there are so many realities arising together, but if only one does not appear, there cannot be clear understanding of that. We just learn about different characteristics as what kind of a reality which is wholesome and what kind is not wholesome. But the characteristic of each is not the direct object yet. That's why there cannot be the understanding of that reality as no one and no thing, but only that reality as sati. So as much as one knows that sati cannot arise with a kusala moment, killing, stealing, can be done without sati. But whenever sati is there, it cannot condition such wholesome action or deeds or speech. So it's not you. To learn about sati as not self, whatever is learned must be understand that it is just a reality, no one, no thing, no I at all. No matter it arises, is to whom at any time it performs its function as sati, protecting one from unwholesome moments.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's protecting from unwholesome moment.
That's why at moment of giving, it's because of sati, minding about to do such giving, not other thing, not just keep it for yourself, but thinking about the other's benefit and understand that it's useful to the others that you can give it. But sati arises and performs its function of thinking about giving away from the other's benefit. So clinging to the self is wrong, and only intellectual sati, just understand that sati must be there, but at different moment, different level. Sati just understanding the benefit of wholesomeness, but not seeing the danger of ignorance yet, does not bring about the development of understanding from hearing the truth. To be wise to this moment as not self, as no one, as Buddha has enlightened. All moments of wholesomeness, wholesome moments, must be done with sati, protecting from unwholesomeness.
Oh, thank you, Ajahn.
So at moment of giving, can there be the understanding that it's not me?
It's possible, Ajahn.
But
if there is enough wise consideration, I think it can be.
Yeah. Only when there are conditions enough. Otherwise, it cannot be such reality, wholesomeness. The understanding should bring about the understanding of no self and no one, which is the perfect, the absolute truth. To let go all akusala. Otherwise, as long as there is the idea of myself or me or someone, it cannot eradicate the defilements at all. No one likes to have akusala moments, but how come? Only Panya, which understand better and better what's right and what's wrong, and what is the wrong, very wrong idea is the idea of self. So when there is less attachment to the idea of self, there can be more kusala. So it needs sati to understand this moment with right understanding. Otherwise, it cannot be directly understanding what is there as it is. That's not self. Each word related to understand the truth of reality right now as it is. And the absolute truth is there is nothing, no one at all, only conditioned realities arising. No one can stop its arising and falling away. That's the way it is, which is meant world, our world, that which arises and falls away. Is this the way the world is? Nothing, and then something, and then nothing, unknown.
Well, I think at my level is always, or most of the time, there's always something.
But when there is wise considering what is there that you think that is something, gone now. Everything is gone. Just be there for a very short moment.
Thank you, Ajahn. Recently, I read a little bit about other people's discussion about Intriya and Bala and different, and I read about different degree of sati, and I'm a bit curious about those, but I feel like maybe there's not enough condition for me to understand those yet. So I think I may hold until I understand a little bit better, then I think I'll work with that.
What is now appearing can be understood little by little with viriya and khanti and satya. No one, no self, see? All are dhammas, different dhammas. That's why listening to Dhamma, to that which is not self, considering Dhamma, that which is not anything, to understand more about Dhamma, all are Dhammas. It means no one and nothing in it. Is there Dhamma now?
Yes, Ajahn.
Is there any understanding of each of it?
Intellectual level, some of it, not all of them, but maybe some of them, like hearing only, like hearing, hear sound, things, the different visible objects. So, and it's there still at a intellectual level.
Is it useful to understand the truth?
Yes, Ajahn.
So keep on listening, considering, and understanding develops by conditions from hearing and thinking carefully, wisely. But the truth that should be kept in life, not only this life, there is no I, no thing permanent at all. Just once arising and then falling away, never to arise again in samsara. What you like now is gone, So is it wise to cling to that which is no more there? No,
yeah. There is still conditions for clinging and thinking there's I.
When there is more understanding of the truth, it will get less and less attachment to wrong understanding of self or things by conditions.
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn. There's only 5 minutes left, so I leave it for someone else to.
And only once, is it enough?
I'm sorry, Ajahn.
A little more, is it enough?
Never enough, Ajahn.
That's right. Until Panya develops to the degree that realities appears as it is, exactly as what Buddha had enlightened. And when you have such firm understanding of the benefit of understanding the truth, you are Savaka Bodhisattva.
Ajahn Ka, when you speak of nothing, something, nothing, are you referring to citta or
Anything this moment, anything this moment.
anything at this moment that arises and then is gone?
Say something and then you know that that is what I say. Nothing before and then arising to be there and then nothing again. Sunyata, no more. Is it worthwhile to keep on like this? Never end. Endlessly in samsara.
Well, there's yes, it is pointless, but there's nothing that can be done about it. It just, that's the way it is. It arises
By conditions.
falls away, and we just
Yes. By conditions.
by conditions, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no changing that. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. And Buddha taught all about conditions. Seeing is conditioned. Thinking is conditioned. Whatever is there is conditioned. Not by anyone, but by its proper conditions. To be just that and then gone.
And in the deepest sense, Zita, before anything arose, before the seeing arose, it's nothing. And when it arises, actually, it's still not anything, but it's taken for something all the time, and then it's gone. But actually, there's never something, because it's just the Dhamma which arises and falls away. But as soon as seeing arises, it's taken immediately for being something.
It does seem rather silly, doesn't it, that we cling on to this and that and everything else when really it's just gone.
It's gone immediately, yes.
But there's no changing that, because there is lopa arises because of conditions, clings on. That's and just the way it is.
And ignorance of the truth, taking it all the time, misunderstanding that it's nothing. Okay, I think it's about time to be finished. So thank you very much, Ajahn Sujin Sat.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, everyone.
See you again. Have a good lockdown, you two.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.